PTTS. Today's date is August 23rd, 2022, Tuesday. My name is Nang Hong Lam. So, on Sunday, about 2 days ago on Sunday, I just made a on-the-go video using the Handycam, Sony Handycam. So basically it was just like minutes long. It's just like minutes long. It's just kind of like to tell, like, basically I was going to the supermarket to get some ingredients to make the bitter melon recipe and the anchoy recipe. So I was just saying that, like, a really quick video. I don't know what would happen, since it was just because I have been having a lot of things to do in my schedule. I just wanted to make sure that it just, you know, like, if something, so like in a way, like I have the camcorder, I have my reporter badge, and it's kind of like, in a way, like if something happened, it was just, you know, I don't want to add more conflicts to my schedule since there's a lot of things to do. So that's why I made that minutes long video, to saying that if something happened, then I would be ready to capture the video and things like that. So that was on Tuesday. Also, I just want to say the reason I made this video is, well, like I was saying on the Resident Evil 4, which was like some days ago, I made the Resident Evil 4 video, which was like, I like, for those who haven't been following my schedule, basically all the video I'm making, it's from now on, I'm gonna call it Resident Evil. So it was the fourth video I made after the high fever, because I got through the high fever, which was, I felt that, you know, like, because I have been wanting to complain about getting caught up with my schedule. There's too many things to do in my schedule, and I felt that the high fever was worse than getting caught up with my schedule and having a lot of things to do. My high fever, I couldn't really do anything, feel sick the whole time, and I was just lying on my bed most of the time. So the high fever, I felt the high fever was worse than being caught up with my schedule and having a lot of things to do in my schedule. So basically, after recovering from my high fever, I started to name all my videos as Resident Evil. So that was the fourth one that I was making. Basically, in that fourth one, I wanted to point out that it was, so like, in a way, the whole reason the high fever started because of the combinations of things happened at once to me. I think that was why the high fever started, because number one, there was house inspection that was gonna happen at my house, and number two, I was being scrolled at about, like, the house inspections, and then my shelves and my shelf is a mess, and my desk is a mess, and I'm gonna get blamed for the house inspection not gonna pass. So things like that. So basically, the house inspection and but was just getting scrolled at. I didn't really listen to it, but it's related. The getting scrolled at was related to the house inspection, and also I was kind of in a very kind of like, I have been very caught up with my schedule. I have a lot of things to do, so I haven't really got time to straighten up my shelves and my desk. So in a way, like, I trying to, you know, like, make it up, trying to, like, do everything really quickly, trying to straighten up my desk and straighten my shelf. I think that whole trying to make up at a very quick pace. That could also be another thing that add up to why the high fever started. So the house inspections, the getting blamed and getting scrowned at, and then the really like trying to make up. I just straighten up my desk and my shelf, which haven't been for some years of time. I haven't been straightening up my shelves and my desks, so it's kind of like a pretty messy shelf, pretty messy desk. So it's just trying to make up really quickly, trying to straighten up everything and things like that. So it also, that could be another reason. And then the fourth reason would be like it's just my articles. I type over 1,000 pages of articles to post it up on my website, TRATCT.tumblr.com. And also I made many of these videos where I speak in front of the camcorder. So basically all those videos and all those 1,000 pages of articles, I have no evidence that people have either went to my website before or watched any of my videos before. So in a way, that's another reason. So all those things all add up at once, and I felt that could be one of the reasons why I had that high fever. So, and then basically that I'm just going briefly. Like I have already talked more thoroughly about this whole reason, like in more detail throughout my previous videos. Right now I'm just going like a very brief and very brief about like the whole combinations of things that happened to me. So basically, so that's how I think that's how the high fever started. And I remember just feeling very sick and just could lie on my bed, couldn't really do anything during the high fever. So it was for almost a week of time I was going through the high fever, trying to get myself through the high fever, and I was just feeling very sick and just lying on my bed most of the time. And I felt that, I mean, I was complaining about getting caught up with my schedule and having a lot of things to do, but I think the high fever was worse, like feeling very sick and couldn't really do anything, like just lying on my bed most of the time. So in comparison, I think the high fever worse than getting caught up with my schedule and having a lot of things to do in my schedule. So that's what I was. So basically, after I recover from I pulled through and recovered from my high fever. So I started taking basically I was saying I have also start straightening up my shelf, but at the same time giving myself some taking more breaks is because my high fever could still come back. So I start straightening up my shelves and my desks for about a few days of time, and then I get scrolled at by Hui again, which I think that it was in a way that's the whole reason I created I made the Resident Evil 4 videos, because Hui is scrolling at me while I was straightening up my shelves and my desk. So that's in a way, but in that video I was just saying that it's I don't want it to get scrolled at, but I was saying that it would be better off I get scrolled at than when I finish straightening up all my shelves and all my desks. I think in a way that would be not what I wanted to happen. So I'd rather get scrolled at early on than when I straighten up all my shelves and then all my desks. So kind of in a way that's what I wanted, like early on. Kind of like it's better that way to get grounded early on than when I completed, straightened up all my shelves and my desks. So that's what I was saying in that video. Kind of like I'd rather to get grounded early on. So, but I went more detail on that Resident Evil 4 video on it. So right now, the reason I made this video, Resident Evil 5, is because I was just, after Sunday, I kind of like, in a way, a few hours went to the supermarket to get all the ingredients such as bitter melon and the anchoy, those vegetable. I mean that's the main ingredients, the bitter melons and anchoy. But I also have to purchase all the other ingredients also. So like I spent about a few hours like going to the market and then getting the groceries, and go to the supermarket and get the grocery and then return. So about a few hours, and then that whole day I was cooking the recipe, the anchoy recipe, which basically that took the whole Sunday. And then because I made about 3 portions, which I was using just a cooking pot to try to make all 3 portions, and also like I have to cook for my meal also, like I have to have like meal time. And so in a way, like I use the anchoy recipe as to go with the meal, but I would still have to cook some like water rice to go with the anchoy and things. But basically that's the whole Sunday, was to go to the supermarket and like cook the anchoy recipes. So I mean, the whole reason I want to have the basic, okay, I'm gonna go in more detail about those recipes. For now, I'm talking my reasons for why I'm making this video, Resident Evil 5. So basically, I was just kind of in a way very occupied with cooking the bitter melon recipe and the anchoy recipe. I was in those last few days I was very occupied by that, and also straighten up my shelves and my desks. That's more, I focus more on the recipe because it's I just want to get it out of the way, since that's very high on the list to do things, the bitter melon recipe and the anchoy. So I just want to get that out of the way by just finish cooking all that. I mean, I spent the whole day. Okay, so basically, I was occupied by cooking the bitter melon recipe and the anchoy recipe. Was occupied by that, and the other thing wasn't as much like. The other activities wasn't as much. Basically, that was the main focus, the bitter melon recipe, and cooking the bitter melon recipe and the anchoy recipe was the main focus in the last few days. And I was just saying that because I don't, basically the whole reason I made this video is because, like, this video, Resident Evil 5, is because, well, this time it wasn't really a scrown. It just was, Sakimura was saying like she wanted to throw away some of the things if I kept it lying around and kind of like take up space and things like that. So in a way, like, I feel that could also, because I mean, like I was saying, like I was just having conflicts about